everyone, and welcome to What's Up in Real Estate. And today we have on topic Federal Chairman Jerome Powell delivered his Jackson Hole speech, and it definitely moved the market. For the first time in a while, we're seeing openness to rate cuts, and with Powell saying the labor market looks weak enough to entertain a cut, even while inflation remains at risk. And let me tell you, this gave us a modest rally on Friday, and we saw rates improve dramatically versus the previous day. Buyers and sellers, even builders, are watching closely to see if this momentum carries through into September. So what do you got?
Well, that was a perfect kickoff. Nice and clear. So from here, let's just keep rolling with that same energy. We can sprinkle in a bit of clever humor whenever it fits, but we'll keep things nice and traditional and strategic as we go. Let's make it a great show.
Yep, Powell emphasized that policy rates are still restrictive and hinted at the possibility of a September rate cut. Traders weren't expecting that much clarity, so we saw rates react very, very quickly and held steady through the close yesterday, and we saw a dramatic improvement in rates. All this and more news you can use for August 22nd, 2025. I am your host, Mortgage Mack. That's first name Mortgage, last name Mack, and where we believe in building partnerships that help agents and buyers win, along with our co-host, ChatGPT-Sol 5.0. Let's dive into talking point number one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you ready to refi? If you bought your home in the last few years and locked a rate above 7%, now's the time to start watching your strike rate. That point where refinancing makes financial sense, with rates now hovering at the lowest levels for the year. Sol?
Absolutely. That's a perfect segue. So let's keep it nice and strategic. Anyone who's been sitting on a Harper rate can start thinking about that refi sweet spot. And hey, a little clever humor never hurts. Maybe tell them to keep their eyes peeled like they're watching for a surprise sale. But overall, we're just blending that traditional, clear communication with a little forward-thinking advice. Keep rolling.
Yep. And according to Mortgage News Daily, Powell's Jackson Hole speech nudged rates down just enough to touch the year-to-date lows. That could mean meaningful for homeowners in Houston and across the country. If you're at 7% or higher, refinancing into the current rates could save thousands over time. So what's the best way for homeowners to figure out if refinancing now makes sense for them?
Well, the best
Besides
way...
calling Mortgage Mack.
Absolutely.
And downloading the Rate app, and or going to mortgagemack.com. I think all of those are real objective answers. What do you agree? What do you say, Sol?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Those are the perfect next steps. So for anyone tuning in, just head over to mortgagemack.com or grab the app and you'll have all the tools you need. It's a straightforward, tried and true approach, just like we like it.
That's right. Moving on to talking point number two, and talking about interest rates again. We saw a rally on Friday. Rates have been drifting higher most of the summer, but Powell's speech Friday brought a welcome pause. He acknowledged that the labor market has weakened enough to consider cuts, even with tariffs still pressuring inflation. The market took that as a sign of potential relief in September. So, if Powell signals a rate cut in September, how quickly could that ripple into mortgage rates here in Houston?
Well, it's a great question, and here's the straightforward scoop. If Powell signals a cut in September, mortgage rates around Houston can start reacting pretty quickly. Markets tend to bake in those expectations almost immediately, so we might see a ripple effect in days or weeks, not months.
Absolutely.
And of course, we'll keep...
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm already seeing some refinance activity and inquiries associated with that. As Mortgage News Daily put it, Powell didn't pivot drastically, but his tone shifted by leaning more toward the Fed's employment mandate versus the inflationary rate. He opened the door to cuts, which immediately rallied bonds. That helped mortgage rates edge lower, even if just barely. In Houston, we're already seeing more buyer reengage, as I stated, as rates stabilize. A quarter-point dip could unlock affordability for thousands of people. And so now for a commercial break from rate.com in reference to our world-class mobile app, and we'll be back in 1 minute.
Perfect.
Looking to purchase a new home? The Rate app from Guaranteed Rate has got you covered. Once you've downloaded the Rate app, click to log in and create your password. This will take you to the intro page. Click the gray Same Day or Home Loans tile, and then click the red Apply Now button. Then click Start a New Loan. Begin by telling us where you are in the home buying process. Typically, for a pre-approval, you will click What Can I Afford? From there, the Rate app will load a series of simple questions. Answer each one the best you can as you move along. Once you've completed the application, your loan officer will receive a notification so they can review your information and set up your personalized checklist. The Rate app even allows you to upload documents right from your phone. It's just that easy. And if you do get stuck or have any questions, just give us a call. We'll be sure to get your questions answered so we can get you one step closer to owning the home of your dreams. The Rate app from Guaranteed Rate, simplifying life's biggest purchase.
Hello, and thank you, Rate. And you know what? The Rate app is, let me just tell you, it's a world-class mobile application, and we highly recommend it for real estate agents and for buyers. You know, speed and accuracy are really the two critical items related to being successful in the marketplace, along with preparation. And, you know, in today's world, you know, being able to have that information and be able to connect with your loan officer, do numbers, upload your documents, you name it, everything that you could do on your desktop, you can do on our mobile application. It is a world-class application. And now for talking point number 3, and well, let's see here. Builders are backing off according to new housing permits nationwide. We're still facing a shortfall of 2 to 4 million homes, which at the peak during COVID, it was upwards of 5 million. But with affordability stretched and regulatory delays, builders are backing off. New housing permits have dipped below 1.5 million units, and sort of a concerning sign for a lot of folk. But here's where I believe the Fed speech ties in. If rates rally as they did Friday, and we continue with that same momentum, it could bring builder confidence back to bring projects back online. Powell's hint as cuts suggest the Fed won't let the job market or housing sector weaken too much. But until builders see that following through, they're cautious, especially entry-level housing. That means tighter supply and continued upward pressure on prices. So do you think Powell's openness to rate cuts will be enough to shift builder sentiment? You know, we've discussed builder sentiment over the last couple of months, and it has continued to decline, as you can see on this chart. And so what are your thoughts on that, please?
Absolutely. It's a big question and definitely a strategic one. In a more traditional sense, builders have always been a bit cautious when it comes to reading the Fed's tea leaves. But if Powell's signaling of rate cuts holds steady, we might see that confidence start creeping back in. It's not an overnight shift, but it definitely could nudge them in the right direction. So in other words, if the Fed's giving them a green light, we might just see builders feeling a bit more confident to jump back in and get those projects rolling again.
Great. With a inventory shortage of 2 to 4 million and a peak during COVID, wouldn't it be objective to say that this is sort of you know, an ongoing issue and or challenge that we've been living with since what, the Great Recession, when builders just quit building, yet the population continued to grow over the last 15 years? What is your perspective on that, ChatGPT?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pattern we've seen playing out for over a decade now. Ever since the Great Recession, builders have been cautious, and that underbuilding gap has just kept growing as the population keeps rising. So from a traditional perspective, it's not surprising that they've been a bit gun shy. But if the Fed's more...
Yeah, but let's be objective and clear why we have this problem. We have the problem of the Great Recession because of deregulation of the mortgage industry. And you know, and I can show objectively in the data and the legislation how that happened, going all the way back to post-Great Depression to prevent another Great Depression from happening. But hey, the politicians, builders, and bankers, and everybody else in all their wisdom thought it was wise to deregulate the mortgage industry.
Absolutely.
How pitiful these folks are that actually believe that kind of nonsense, but can't put it into historical perspective. Because if you look back at that day and age, and it was under a Republican president at that particular time. So let's be clear. And I've had people try to redefine that historical event to me. And it was the deregulation of the mortgage industry, if we recall correctly, we bailed the banks out for $1 trillion, then permitted them to foreclose on 6 million Americans, and then permitted them to record-breaking profits by just investing in the quantitative easing that the feds were doing. And, people on Main Street just got left behind. And I think that's a reflection of what we're seeing in our political challenges that exist today. And I don't think that a lot of people fully grasp the reality of why we have the shortage, because at that moment, builders just quit building homes, but the population continued to grow. So people, I'm here to tell you, in a historical context, that's what happened. And forget all the political narratives. Those were the objective events that have created the shortage that we see today. That is contributing to the affordability along with other items. So let's move on to the next section. Today, mortgage tip section. Hey, are you getting ready to buy a home? One of the best ways to prepare is to keep your finances in check. That means checking your credit, saving for a down payment, and avoiding big purchases before you apply. And remember, your future self will thank you. A few smart moves today can save you headaches later. Can't say enough how important it is to prepare, to prepare, to prepare. And if you want a personalized game plan to make mortgage ready, reach out to yours truly, Mortgage Mack, and you can find me on my digital address at #MortgageMack all over the internet. And so DM me for a free mortgage ready checklist. It can be a game changer, and then we can schedule some time together, spend an hour together, and help you plan this journey successfully. Thank you. All right, so we're going to move on to Stoic Quote of the Week, and dun, 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 now for a little timeless wisdom to fortify our sanity. You have power over your mind, not outside of fence. Man, I have to remind myself of that every day. This is from Marcus Aurelius. And it comes from, as I said, Marcus Aurelius, but reminds us that while we can't control mortgage rates, the feds, the builders, the underwriters, the real estate agents, the buyers, the sellers, the title companies, the surveyors, the appraisers. Let's see, who else? Anybody else you want to add to this, chat? GPT? We can control how we respond. And I endeavor to try to be better at that every single day. And but it's always a challenge. ChatGPT?
Absolutely. And you're hitting the nail on the head. We can't control all those external factors, but we can definitely control our own responses and keep our cool, just like Marcus Aurelius would suggest. So I'd say that's a great reminder for everyone listening. And hey, a little Stoic wisdom never goes out of style. So let's keep rolling and apply that mindset as we move on to the next segment.
Yeah, let's do some fun with puns. And hey, you know what? We're going to see if we can have a little fun on this roller coaster, right? Let's start with our first one. And we have some videos that we're going to share with you today. Elvis Steakhouses. You want to go for that one, Chat GPT? What's the tagline? You got it? You got it?
Oh, I've got it. For the Elvis Steakhouse, let's say, where every bite is a hunk of burning love. So there you go. Just a little fun to keep things rolling.
Absolutely. I like it. I like the way you think. So how about where you'll love meat tender?
Oh, that's perfect. I love it. Where you'll love meat tender is definitely a tagline fit for a king. Of rock and roll or of steaks. So let's keep the fun coming and roll on to the next pun whenever you're ready.
Let's do it. We're going to do this fun. It's a video. Let's see. Let's turn on the sound here.
Yeah, trendsetter.
All right, let's cue it up and have some fun with it. I'm all ears for this video pun, so let's see what we've got. Let's roll that sound.
Let me make it.
All right. Trendsetter. Whoa.
All right, sounds like we're ready to...
What sound does an odd duck make?
Yeah.
Well, an odd duck might just give you a quack that's a little offbeat. Maybe more of a quirky quack than a normal quack. So let's just say it's a duck with its own special sound, and we can have a laugh with that.
Yeah, I'm thinking quirky quack. Yeah, how about that? Work for you? Works for me. Let's move on to the next one. I want to thank my eyes for...
Absolutely, a quirky... For me too. So let's roll right along. And as for your next one, let's thank your eyes for always looking out for you. Literally. That's a great little pun to keep.
That was easy. I want to be a DJ
Well, that was definitely easy. And hey, if you want to be DJ, you've already got the perfect rhythm going. We'll just keep spinning those thumbs like records and have a great time with it. Let's keep the fun rolling.
Let's check this one out. Let's leave this one. And these are from my TikTok channel. If you're on TikTok, go join me on TikTok. We do some goofy stuff, right? And we just want to be goofy and have a little fun and be silly. So let's see what this one is. I wish I had a pair of skinny jeans.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the goofiness. If you're wishing for a pair of skinny jeans, well, maybe we'll just say they're on a tight schedule to show up. So we'll keep it light and silly, just like on your TikTok. Thanks for sharing that, and we'll keep having fun with it.
Did we do this one? I want to be a DJ, but I'll have to start from...
I don't think we've spun that one yet. So let's go for it. If you want to be a DJ and you have to start from scratch, well, that's just how all the best mixes begin, right? So we'll just keep the playful vibes going and have fun with it.
All right, here's our last one. And, we did get a lot of views on that TikTok, and, maybe we're missing something, but that wouldn't be a new one. So, all right, so thanks for joining us for this week's episode of What's Up with Real Estate. Thanks to our sponsor, Rate and List Reports. Remember, knowledge is the key to making the best decisions for you and your clients. Join us here every Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll see you at closing. ChatGPT, say bye.
Absolutely. Well, that was a blast, and thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll sign off here, and I'll say goodbye until the next show.
Have a great day.
Stay tuned, stay informed, and